gotta give in now. I think I gotta live this now. I begin to beam and I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in their ring when I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the whip. Cause I am just up on the journey. You just know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors rise. They are driving the economy off a cliff, and it's becoming clearer and clearer to me personally, not financial advice, of why cryptocurrency was created. My name is Coach JB. I am the top health, mindset, crypto, and business coach in the world. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And people keep asking how they can join the 3T Warrior Academy. What I've been doing is I pin it in the comments down below. It'll be the top pinned comment. Check it out, 3twarrior.com. We're going to dive right into it, Warriors. These are not fear tactics. These are facts, figures, numbers, logic. The key, Warriors, is to get prepared. A recession is coming. Again, we're in 3 cycles: war, climate change, narrative, and economic. We as humans get to experience 3 cycles all together at once. It is getting pretty deep, Warriors. Okay. I'm going to show you some videos today. I'm going to show you facts, figures, numbers, logic. I told you guys about a month ago that the job layoffs were going to start. They keep telling you the economy is in great shape. Well, of course, it's in great shape numbers-wise. They can manipulate the numbers however they want because millions, trillions of dollars were pumped into the economy, and many companies, all that money is running out now. The money machine, the money supply got turned off. They skyrocketed interest rates. The normal everyday person cannot buy a mortgage anymore. Shit, they can't even put gas in their car, and soon they're not going to be able to pay for food. All by design to move the middle class down to the working poor, to make the rich much richer, and then change the monetary system. And by 2030, you will own nothing. As everybody laughed about these things, everybody made fun of the videos, this is now current reality. The great news about this, it's the greatest time in human history. I'm training my warriors to not be scared. Chest proud, chin up. This is the greatest time for you to transfer wealth for your family. It's time to cut out frivolous spending. Stop buying Starbucks. Save $80 a month. Stop eating out. Get it to $300 a month. Cut out your subscriptions like Netflix, things like that. Get it up to $360 a month and invest in a very speculative asset that they say is going to collapse to zero and see what happens. Let's dive right into it, Warrior. So the first video we are going to watch is Warren to Powell, Elizabeth Warren talking to Powell. Don't drive the economy off a cliff. Now, what I want you to look at the lack of confidence he has now. Let me see if I can get it back to the same thing. So look at the confidence he had last year and look at the voice inflection. The shoulders are down now. He knows. And I don't think Jerome Powell's a bad person. I don't think he seems like a pretty good dude, man. He was doing a great job with the economy in the past. Well, who knows? Let me take that back. Who knows what they're doing with the economy? But he seemed pretty genuine. But now you can feel the stress. You can see the decisions he's making he's not in alignment with. You can see his facial expressions changing. You can see his shoulders are down. His chin is down. His face is starting to change because he knows what he's doing. He's not in alignment. He's not able to sleep at night, Warriors. And with he's not able to sleep at night, that should alarm you to get your shit together. Here we go.
What's going on here? If I understand what you've said and what economists are saying across the board is that when you raise interest rate, there's going to be less money to invest. And that is, it's going to dampen business investment. Is that a fair statement?
I think the idea is to
makes it more
moderate demand
to invest
so that it can be in better balance with supply. And
so
the current situation, demand is well in excess of supply in some areas of our economy.
More expensive to invest, which in turn is going to throw workers out of work. And when they're out of work, they have less money to spend. So I get that rate increases stop companies from spending money to build new plants or to buy new trucks or to hire new people, right, Chair Powell? When money's more expensive, they're less inclined to do that. I think that's what you just said on asset pricing, right?
Well, in the labor market, you have, as you know, you have a situation where there's a shortage of workers and there are two job vacancies for every person who's actively looking for work. So part of this is to get the labor market back into balance.
Well, I appreciate you call it back into balance. What I'm trying to get at, though, is what does the tool of raising rates do? And part of what you just said is that it increases, in effect, the cost to invest, to buy those trucks or new plants or to hire new people. The reason I raise this and the reason I'm so concerned about this is rate increases make it more likely that companies will fire people and slash hours to shrink wage costs. Rate increases also make it more expensive for families to do things like borrow money for a house. And so far, the cost this year of a mortgage has already doubled. Inflation is like an illness, and the medicine needs to be tailored to the specific problem. Otherwise, you could make things a lot worse. And right now, the Fed has no control over the main drivers of rising prices, but the Fed can slow demand by getting a lot of people fired and making families poorer. And while President Biden is working to increase energy supplies and straighten out supply chain kinks and break up monopolies and bring down prices, you could actually tip this economy into recession. So,
boom, we'll just leave it right there. So no matter what your political views are or whatever, what she's speaking is facts. She's spitting fire right there. That is facts, figures, numbers, logic. They know, he knows where he's taking us. And let's see what he says right here. Where is he at? Where are they at right here? Central bank heads gather in Cintira. Okay, Powell says we're learning to deal with the new economy, right? Well, let's see what he says.
Has it always been this way, but we forget about it? Or is this really a new frontier?
So I agree with everything Augustine said about institutional progress. But I would add this. We've lived through a period of disinflationary forces around the world. This is globalization, aging demographics, low productivity, technology enabling all of that. And so we've been in that world where inflation was really not a problem in most of the advanced economies most of the time. Since the pandemic, we've been living in a world where the economy is being driven by very different forces, and we know that. What we don't know is whether we'll be going back to something that looks more like, or a little bit like, what we had before. We suspect that it'll be kind of a blend, but in the meantime, we've had a series of supply shocks. We've had very high inflation now across the world, certainly through all the advanced economies, and we're, to Augustine's point, we're learning to deal with it. Our job is to find price stability and maximum employment, in the case of the Fed, in this new economy with these new forces. And it is a very different exercise than the one that we've had for the last 25 years. Nonetheless, the goals are the same.
Okay. So they're going to keep warning you, Warriors. They're going to keep warning you that you're going to be leveraged towards technology. You're coming back to a new economy, right? They know that, they know that raising interest rates, Elizabeth Warren is out there saying it, raising interest rates doesn't help the normal everyday American. It's crushing the normal everyday American. The supply chain problems, the gas, the food. Think about it. Somebody has to make a decision now if they live in, Tempe and they need to get out to Phoenix, or Tempe and they need to get to Scottsdale, and they now have to make a decision. Am I going to pay my water bill, or am I going to pay for my gas to get to my job to be able to pay for more gas? There's decisions now being made. And within the next 6 months, people are going to have to start to make those types of decisions. Am I going to pay my light bill, or am I going to feed my family? But Warriors, this is your time to activate. This is not a time to be screwing around playing excessive video games. This is not a time to be screwing around arguing about petty shit. It's time to lock together in a relationship, lock arm in arm, dive into higher consciousness, start to work on your relationship, get a promotion at your job, start a side hustle. Warriors, I'm giving away the information for free, and only 700 of you have taken advantage of it. If you go to the links in my bio, I'll put it in this bio as well in the description down below. I'm giving you my 7-figure blueprint on how I created a 7-figure company off of TikTok, and I'm about to duplicate it once again. Think about that. Think about that, Warriors. I'm giving you the tools for free, and we're going to start a free group that you can come in there. We're going to do bi-weekly training for you. So you can take advantage of this, or you can sit back and watch what Chris Rock and Will Smith are doing. You can watch the Johnny Depp trial. You can focus on all these social media bullshit, all these, stupid stuff, just dumb stuff that they're distracting you with, Warriors. It is the greatest time in human history for you to shift your family's wealth. Well, let's look at some of the news that's coming out, right? Investment bank fees fall by $24 billion as deals boom, loses steam. So basically, this is going to reverberate through the banks. They're going to start to be cutting jobs big time, warriors, okay? Deal making fees at top investment banks slumped by as much as 56% during the first half of 2022 as recessionary fears of rising interest rates and have halted the boom that broke records last year. A sharp downturn in equity markets. What this does is now it's going to start to cause layoffs in the banking sector, right? Every person that gets laid off is someone who's not buying gas, someone who's not buying groceries. And if you work at a grocery store, the less customers you have, guess who they start to cut? You warriors. So when you see another person getting laid off, that is a cause and effect. It's a ripple in the pond that will affect you at some point. The pandemic may have forever. This is from Jerome Powell. The pandemic may have forever altered the economy, Fed Powell says. Bed Bath & Beyond CEO ousted as sales collapse by 27%. I shared with you that Amazon, Walmart, and Target's inventories are increasing. They have more inventory than they ever have. Think about what the mom and pa is going to do. Amazon, Walmart, and Target are starting to have inventory issues, too much inventory. That means people are not buying. The U.S. economy contracted more than initially reported in Q1 as consumption dropped. The U.S. economy shrank at an annualized 1.6 in the first quarter, reflecting a deeper contraction than previously reported. Job cuts are rolling in. Here's how people are feeling the pain. This is a new narrative, warriors. June 29th, they're starting to push the narrative of people are being laid off. Wall Street layoffs are likely ahead as two-year high boom turns to bust. This is going to cause a massive amount of fear, dropping asset prices, allowing you to get in at discount prices. So we're going to leave you with this video here. Is the Fed running a Ponzi scheme? We're going to they talk to the CEO of Pantera Capital. Listen to what he says.
Isn't just a policy error, but a Ponzi scheme. Those are his words. Pantera Capital CEO and co-chief investment officer Dan Moorhead joins us now. Dan, great to have you with us. Your letter was very interesting. And I didn't know that the Fed did not buy any bonds whatsoever for 95 years or so until now. And then they went all in. So walk us through why policy is now a Ponzi scheme.
Well, yeah, so the Fed used to just control the overnight rate, and even that has been way behind where they should be. The policy rate used to, on average, be about 1.25% above inflation. It's now 700 basis points below inflation. They've just gotten the overnight rate back to where it was right before the pandemic. And when the pandemic started, inflation in the US was 2.3, and it's now 8.3 in official terms. And then there's a problem with the way they report housing. The true inflation rate's in double digits now. So that's a policy mistake, but completely separately is their manipulation of the mortgage market. The Fed used to not invest in bonds, didn't manipulate the long curve. They let free market actors like pension plans, mutual funds, insurance companies do all the lending in the economy. But in 2020, they decided to get involved in the mortgage market. They ultimately bought $6 trillion of government and mortgage bonds. And to put that in perspective, the record year for issuance of mortgages to all Americans was a quarter that size. So in 2 years, they did 200% of all mortgage lending in the US. And there's some big ramifications that unfortunately we're just seeing now.
Hey, Dan, so Fed's credibility, I'm with you on this, and we've been harping about a lot of different things. What's the most credible thing they could do here? Because, again, you've got Jerome Powell, who people have been following the Fed know at least this guy was a dyed-in-the-wool hawk guy who somehow got pulled in a different direction, different times. I'm not sure we defend that. What's the most credible move they can make to begin to build back?
Yeah, there's two things, right? They have to deal with the overnight rate. And for a long time, they said it was transitory or some supply chain issues. And I think to build credibility, they have to make it clear that it's not a couple container ships stuck off Long Beach Harbor. It's a supply of labor issue. We have twice as many job openings in America as we have people looking for a job. The unemployment claims in the US hit a all-time record low. only 1 out of 1,000 people filed for new unemployment claims, which is kind of the odds of getting hit by a coconut. So they need to establish credibility on the short-term side, but really they got to stop manipulating long rates. They have to let the free market do that. And right now, Case-Shiller housing index is still running above 20% nationwide. That's not just hot markets, that's everywhere. And
Okay, so we'll leave it at that right there, Warriors. So I just wanted you to hear that part that really shocked me. I didn't know that the mortgage-backed bonds, that they had bought more bonds, 200%. I think he said 200%, right? 200% more bonds than they've ever done in history in the last 24 months. What else happened in the last 24 months, Warriors? They printed more money than in history in the last 24 months. Does this not signal to you that they are switching us to a new economy? Does it not shock you that in 2023 we'll be on a CBDC run by FedNow Services, distributed ledger technology, which will run 24/7, 24 hours a day? Does it not seem like a setup in order to move the working middle class down to the working poor? And what they'll start doing is printing more money in the quantum system to be able to give you access to money 24/7. That's how they're going to get you onto the app. Warriors, you have the opportunity, in my opinion, and what I'm doing is invested in what they call speculative asset, studying cryptocurrency and blockchain projects that I think are going to be here for the long term. Things like VeChain, XR, I'm a big XRP fan, XLM, things, Ethereum is going to be here, Warriors. And if Bitcoin drops between 10 and 14,000, I'm going to be buying into Bitcoin. I'm a big Ethereum fan though, Warriors. Consensus, dive into consensus and Ethereum, Warriors. This is all by design. And the greatest time to become wealthy and the greatest time to free yourself financially and your family financially is in the worst economic times in the world. Unfortunately, it's when there's blood in the streets. As everybody's looking this way at a narrative, there's a whole other thing going on this way. It's always been that way. And if you know the game, you can't be played, Warriors. So start cutting out that frivolous spending. Start creating cash flow. Look for a promotion at your just over broke your job, or start your own company online, Warriors. If you have a company, get it online. If you're not on TikTok with your company, get on to TikTok. I'm going to be doing free training for you guys, Warriors. Get the blueprint. I'm going to do for as much free coaching as I can for business, Warriors. I want to help as many people as possible understand how I did it. It's not a secret, but we did find a formula and get the puzzle pieces together in order to create a 7-figure company. We're going to do it once again, Warriors. Get on the train. We're doing this together. Locking arm in arm. If you're not an entrepreneur, become an intrapreneur inside your business. Start to create, innovate, build new innovative technologies, but look at your job and make sure it's going to be here, Warriors. Don't plan for now, plan for the future. Look 5 years ahead. So I appreciate you. I love you. I'll put everything in the description down below. I'll also put the Warrior Academy in the comment, the first pinned comment. I will never contact you on WhatsApp app, and I also will not proactively contact you on Instagram. I do not invest people's money. Those are all fake accounts. I only have one Instagram, one TikTok, one Facebook, one YouTube channel, and all this is in the description down below. I love you guys. Appreciate you. Warriors, get your shit together. Let's go.